So this is just mostly personal for me so that I don't forget because I have a tendency to forget things. Um, this is about ear gauging. So recently I decided that I kind of wanted to take that step, that it was time for me, how I felt, that I wanted to start gauging my ears. Stretching my ears is the proper term. I say gauging out of habit, actually, even though I know that stretching is the proper word. Bear with me. Don't yell at me for that, please. Um, so I recently decided that I wanted to start stretching. Coincidentally, right before I got my conches pierced. Eh, there's a lot of debate about how many piercings you should have open at one time. I actually recently found out that there was a debate about that. I actually had no idea. I've never gotten one done at a time, except for my belly button. That's the only one that I got alone. Because obviously my lobes were in pairs both times. My industrial I got, straight in, both at the same time, custom bent barbell. This actually, the age of all my piercings, I got my lobes pierced about 15 years ago, first time. About 10 years ago, the second time. And about 4 years ago is when I got the industrial. And I think about a year and a half to 2 years, I don't remember specifically, I decided to get the orbital here and the rook and the tragus. So that was technically 4 at once, which I've seen that some people say is not really a good thing to do, but I did. It was hard to sleep for a very long time because, pain on both sides of my ears, but it wasn't that bad, and they healed just fine. And having more than one piercing helped me because I fiddled with this one so much that these healed perfectly fine. I didn't have any problems with the rook or the tragus. A little bit with the tragus, but the rook healed like perfectly fine. I had barely any problems with it. Whereas the orbital took a while because I kept on playing with it, which is something you're not supposed to do. I was talking about gauging. So for a long time I had avoided gauging simply because I wasn't very informed about it. I didn't know very much. And I don't like how the big ones look, but I love how the smaller ones look. I really like how that is. And I decided that I wanted that for myself. So since my ears were, mal pierced when I was really young, I've only ever worn 18 or 20, I don't know, sizes in there. So I actually decided to start with 16. Some sources will tell you that you can just start with 14. I was not comfortable doing that. I prefer starting with 16. So I actually just dead stretched 16. I had boobs because everything else is 16, mostly. Basically everything else is 16. So I just kind of dead stretched up to 16, and I'm glad that I didn't go to 14 because 16, it definitely felt like they had stretched. It felt like a stretch. It did not, go in easily or perfectly or anything like that. It is just my personal stretching journey. Some people feel that there's, no problems with it and all that stuff. But I worry about my body, and I worry that, my ears aren't that stretchy, I have a very low pain tolerance, all that kind of stuff. So I'm glad that I started with 16. So I actually left those 16 earrings in for about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, just so I could get used to it. And that's when I ordered the stretching kit. I got one of those stretching kits on eBay. It was, $15. It actually comes with really cute, crazy colored tapers. It was actually really unfortunate because no one will ever see them but me. But I don't care. I don't like wearing tapers. I have a little bit of an obsession with tunnels because I love how they look. I love how normal earrings look through tunnels. and that's basically my ultimate goal. So I kept the 16s in there for a few weeks. I got the conches done like a couple days after. I realized that technically probably wasn't the best idea, but it's also not the worst idea. There are a lot worse things that you can do besides accidentally stretching and getting pierced at the same time, because stretching is not the same thing as piercing. So it's different than getting multiple piercings at once. It's not as intense. So that was over 2 weeks, about 3 weeks. I want to say 3. I am very bad at measuring time, so I could actually be completely wrong. So then actually last night I went up to 14. If you're gonna buy tapers or like one of those stretching kits, and you're starting at 14, make sure the kit comes with a 14, because not all of them do. Some of the ones I found actually didn't, and it was a little frustrating because I had to find one that started at 14. A lot of them start at 12, actually, that I saw. You could be different, you could find something different, but I had to find one that started at 14. So they have the tapers, and then they have stainless steel. I think it's stainless steel. Don't judge me if I don't know the exact metal. And then they have tunnels, which is what I really wanted. I don't need fancy things at the moment. I just wanted to get them to that point. So my ultimate goal is to be at an 8, a size 8, because that's kind of what I like the best. It's kind of, smaller, daintier looking than like the 4. The highest I would possibly go would be a 4, because I don't trust my body to actually go back. There's a lot of different talk about what the point of no return is. People say it definitely depends on who you are and how you stretch. So also, if you stretch more slowly, then it's more likely that it'll go back. So I'm trying to stretch as slow as possible, and I'm also really impatient. So what I decided to do in order to distract myself was actually alternate weeks. So in order to leave the 14s in for a month, 2 weeks from now, when I get really impatient, I'm actually going to stretch my second lobes to a 16, and that will kind of stave off any lingering like impatientness, if that's a word. Because a lot of people tend to go too fast, and I really wanted to avoid going too fast. So they recommend that you wait, 3 to 4 weeks in between stretches at the beginning, when you're going from sizes like, I think it's like 16 till about, I think it's 8 or 6. And then at that point, at around 8 or 6, maybe even before, but I would probably say 6, from what I remember. Then you have to wait even longer, like a month and a half. But I'm not planning on getting to that point. I literally just started. I'm really proud of my progress. There were some guys in my class, and both of them had like really big sizes, and I was jealous. And then there's like me with my dainty little 14s, not even tunnels actually, because size 14 isn't really big enough to have a hole in it, because it's so small in and of itself. It's so tiny. Comparatively, it's so tiny. For me, it's big. It felt big. There's a kitty out there. So for me, it felt big, but it looks really tiny. And I'm really excited. But I'm also trying to go as slowly as I possibly can, and it's really hard. So this is just my personal vlog about doing stuff. I probably already said that. So, to go on with the rest of the theme of my sort of weird bloggy thingy going on here, I don't know how the internet works, don't judge me. Things not to do when you're stretching your ears. Don't go too fast. I did a lot of research, and I'm very scared about accidentally hurting myself, and I really don't want to. So I'm being like super duper extra cautious. People do go, 2 weeks and just keep going up sizes and stuff like that, and keep on stretching. I don't want to do that because I'm too scared. I'm not trying to get to a really big size, so I don't really care how long it takes me. At this rate, it'll take me, 2 months, maybe. I calculated this. Yeah, 3 months. Okay. Not that bad. And then alternating with my second lobes, it'll, help me control myself. So just don't go too fast. One of my previous points, which I'm a little embarrassed to go back to, is don't take it out. Because a stretch is not the same as a piercing. Very true. But you still shouldn't take it out. Because okay. So these are really tiny, and I panicked. And I couldn't sleep last night. So I was like, oh no, what if I toss and I turn, and what if I lose the little O-ring around it, and then it falls out, and then I can't find it, and then I can't get a new one. I don't know how to get a new one. And I panicked, so I took them out, put them next to my bed in a little plastic bag. I was like, okay, I'll just put them back in the morning. That was stupid. Don't do that. It's a really bad idea. Because now all that work that you took to stretch them to that point is now gone. Now, if I've been at that size for a length of time, then, it's not that big of a deal to take them out. But I had just done it, literally a couple hours before. This is like me being 10 years old all over again. I took it out, it was a bad idea, and then I had to, re-stretch it. It wasn't fun. I probably also should have waited before re-stretching, maybe? I don't know. I just know that it was I make a lot of mistakes. I do, and that's why I want people to learn from all the mistakes that I make, because I am about 85% sure that I am not done making mistakes. It's going to continue. Probably for the rest of my life. So yep, this is where I am with stretching my ears at the moment. I just started a couple weeks ago. I'm actually really proud of myself. And I really can't think of anything else to say. I'm probably gonna make more videos, because I like making videos.